Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Do me a favor before we get started. I need you to hit this like button. If you're not a subscriber, I need you to do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. Also, check me out on IG, elevation underscore mentor. So, hope everyone is well. Today, we're going to talk about the only 7 things that you need to retire a multi-millionaire. All right. Number one, stop financing things. So, when you're buying things, perhaps things that you need, and you hear the word finance, um, take a second thought instead of just saying, oh, yeah, sure. Usually, financing means that you can't afford it. So, stop financing things, or at least take a second thought on should I really be doing this? Because that's what the salespeople do. They're going to offer you financing and you're going to take it. Why? Because it's going to make the monthly payments low. So, low monthly payments, what does that mean? That means more interest. That means you're paying more for the product than the product is actually worth because you're paying so much interest on it. So, red light when you hear the word financing. Number two, buying assets. So, spending your life buying assets. And assets are things that put money into your pocket. For instance, rental property. Say if you're not interested in rental property, you could do things like house hack. You have a house and someone else lives with you. They're paying rent. Rental property, that's an example of asset. Stocks, business. So, as opposed to people who don't have any assets, you will have assets. Why? Because you are aware of what assets are, and then you're in the process of accumulating assets. Number three, realizing that time is valuable and it's going to take time to compound. So, speaking of the stock market in particular, it takes time for that money to compound. So, initially, it's going to be low, but when you stay in it, the money is going to be compounding, and the money is going to be making money because it's there. Now, this process generally takes 10 years or more. So you really have to be consistent through the ups and the downs, regardless of what the media is saying. And if you're starting late, like a lot of people, late is better than never. There are a lot of people that are not in the stock market at all. And the latest statistics I heard, you know how statistics go. Um, just because it's a statistic doesn't mean it's a fact. But the latest statistics I heard is that 50% of the population is in the stock market. So knowing that this is not something that everyone does, this is one of the ways that you build wealth. So starting late is better than never. So knowing that this road generally takes 10 years, if you have 10 years of life left in you, then it's not too late. For example, there are people in their 70s, so you still have life in you. So it's not too late. Better late than never, especially knowing that this road takes around 10 years, right? So other roads that are shorter are business. And I just saw a guy the other day who achieved this through business in 2 years. So say you're starting in your 70s. So are you going to go ahead and um, start this business or build this business knowing that you have a chance of building something great in a 2 years period of time? Or are you just going to give up and say, I wish somebody had told me a long time ago? So a lot of us do feel like that. We wish someone had told us a long time ago. But the problem with that is they didn't tell you because they don't want you to know. So I'm telling you. Number 4, emergency fund. Emergency fund is important because things happen, as you all know. People lose their jobs, people get laid off, maybe your car breaks down, um, unexpected things happen. So an emergency fund is pretty important. And then if you are investing in the stock market, say for example, you don't have an emergency fund, but you invest in the stock market, they do allow you to take some money out of the stock market for an emergency, even though that's something that you're not supposed to touch. You're not supposed to touch it. It is allowed for you to take it out because that is your money. Um, so in the event that something happens, you were to lose your job, you have a place to go to get money as opposed to not having anything. So emergency fund, important. Number 5, where are you getting your advice from? So not getting your advice from random people on YouTube, but getting your advice from wealthy people, people that are wealthy. So the only problem with that is that wealthy people generally don't share. They are talking about everything else that's going on in the world except for the bottom line, which is money. So when it comes to getting advice, the people that have the advice, they aren't going to give you anything. Does anyone realize that? So in that event, I would say read. Read. So you can find information in books. And the information was not intended for you to find. The book was not written for you. But the information is there in the books, finance books, right? And then they do have things like Clubhouse now, where wealthy people are more accessible than they have ever been. If you listen in on apps like Clubhouse, for example, the millionaires are there, the billionaires are there talking. Podcasts, they're there talking. So you can tune in on the podcast. You can tune in on apps like Clubhouse. Be mindful, though, that the reason they're there is not really to help you. The reason they're there is to get more money off of you, if you know what I mean. So just be mindful of that. And be mindful of who you're getting your advice from. So just because someone says something, you don't just take it as facts. Go research it, go read about it, pray about it, and get clarity. All right? So just pay attention on where the advice is coming from. Is the advice genuine? Is this a genuine source? All right. Number 6, track where your money is going. Track where your money is going. Now, this one is, I would say, it's difficult. If you didn't grow up tracking nothing, other people don't think that way. They don't think it's difficult. Difficult. So I guess you can choose your thoughts. Try to um, train your thought process to think differently. This is not difficult. No, not like that. This is this is simple. This is simple. I spend money and I write it down. How's that? Anyone believe anyone going for that one? So I think that one is kind of difficult because it's like a habit. It's a lifelong habit, right? So track where your money is going so you can see where it's going and you can make changes. So write down your income. Where is your income coming from? Coming from a job, coming from a business, coming from rental property. Where's your income coming from? Then write down your expenses. Every time you spend money, write it down and then put it in order. Put it in some kind of order. Um, Order of housing, um, utilities, things like that. Then you're going to write down what's left over. Do you have anything left over? Or how much do you have left over? See, the benefit of writing it down is you can see what is happening in your finances. How much are you investing? So you can see in this income section, perhaps you might see something like, I think I need to create more income. I need to figure out where more income is going to come from. Either I'm going to get me a side hustle, I'm going to build a business, um, maybe a second job. But I think I need to figure out this income part, how to generate more income. Is this going to be a business? And then when you look at the expenses part, you may notice that you're spending money on things that are frivolous. Maybe you went to the vending machine too many times. So you'll start to see where your money is going, what your habits are. Then leftover. Maybe you notice that you don't have anything left over. And if that's the case, that goes back to the income. Need to increase the income. And then maybe I need to go back to the expenses and cut the expenses. So it's good to track it because you can see what's going on in these areas and make modifications until you get it the way you want it. Right? So that's number 6 is tracking. Tracking. And then number seven is learning the rules of money. Learning the rules of money. So as opposed to just being a consumer, just buying, try to figure out how people can buy from you. Instead of just being an employee, try to figure out how can you move over to a business. You're not only an employee, maybe you're an employee and you have a business. Or you move over all the way to the business. Whatever you decide. So Becoming an investor, business owner, entrepreneur. So the people on this side, they get tax breaks. The people on the other side, the employees, pay the highest in taxes. People are over here on this side, the investors. You're investing in real estate. You are a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. You pay less taxes. And that's the way the system is set up. More taxes here. Over here, less taxes. All right? So those are the 7 rules. And speaking of rules in real estate, check out this link below and join the waitlist for the real estate group. Also, check out the links that I have below. And on your way out, do me a favor and hit this like button. And if you're not a subscriber, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. And on your way out, don't forget, hit this like button. Bye for now.